Hi, my name is Ahmed Mustafa, a volunteer firefighter and paramedic in upstate New York, and founder of Paramedic92. And I'm here today to ask for your help to bring a revolutionary product to the market that I am convinced will save tens, if not hundreds of thousands of lives in the United States. Every year, patients in the United States and around the world need support with their respirations by a procedure we call manual ventilation. Manual ventilation can be performed a variety of ways, either using the traditional rescue mask with a one-way valve, a bag valve mask, or an intubation tube with a bag valve mask. Regardless of what the piece of equipment is that we use, properly ventilating a patient is a complicated skill, different than providing cardiac compressions. When you are providing cardiac compressions, it is a continuous procedure at a rate of about 100 compressions a minute for 30 continuous compressions. When you're ventilating one breath every 5 seconds for an adult. So it's 1, 2. Now 5 seconds doesn't seem very long, but as you may have just noticed, that 5 seconds can be extremely long when you have your adrenaline flowing and there's a lot of chaos around in an emergency scene, whether in the field or even in a hospital setting. And that is why we need a product like the Respirome. Whether you're doing cardiac compressions in conjunction with ventilations for a patient in CPR, or whether you're supporting a patient's ventilations as a result of asthma, COPD, or anaphylaxis, where the patient has a pulse and their heart is beating, but they need either slower, deeper breaths or just support breaths when theirs are too slow for a variety of reasons, the Respirome will be a fantastic electronic coach to say, this is when you should breathe. And if compressions are needed, this is when you should breathe, and this is when you should give compressions. So think about it for a minute. You arrive at a scene, either as a citizen responder, a new responder, or an experienced responder. It doesn't really matter. We all perform the skill the same way. We have to assess the patient, we have to check their airway, we have to verify if they're breathing, and we have to assess their pulse. If their airway is not open, we open it. If they have no pulse, we start compressions, and if they're not breathing, we provide manual ventilations. As all of this is happening, somebody will be looking to start an IV. Somebody will be looking to place a secured airway, like an endotracheal tube or a King airway. Somebody will be looking to start compressions. There's a lot of things going on. And at some point, you'll have to move the patient and start transport. As all of this is happening, somebody's doing continuous compressions. It's very visual and very obvious. Somebody is packaging the patient. But somebody who is ventilating has to ventilate, and ventilate again. And in that pause, there's enough time going by for you to be distracted to do something else. An adult patient should be ventilated approximately once every 5 seconds. However, I have been on scenes and witnessed myself where that time can go to 10 seconds, 20 seconds, sometimes even minutes go by before someone is reminded that, hey, that patient's not breathing and needs to be ventilated. Sometimes, however, just the opposite happens. With our adrenaline flowing and all the excitement and anxiety in a critical situation, we sometimes tend to breathe too fast. Breathing too fast is almost as bad as not breathing enough, because you're putting too much air into the patient's lungs, sometimes into their stomach, which can lead to a whole host of unwanted complications. The Respirome will help prevent this. By being an electronic coach right in the action area, right next to the patient's mouth, it will be hard to not get the signal that says, I should be ventilating now, and in situations where cardiac compressions are needed, I should also be giving compressions. It will be a coach that will help a responder at any level of skill deliver ventilations at the appropriate time and depth, as well as cardiac compressions if needed. And so this is where I need your help. In the United States, to bring a product to market, we need to do all the product design, pilot manufacturing, manufacturing design, and initial production prior to submitting to the FDA. That entire process takes several $100,000. I have the design done, and the product is ready to start pilot manufacturing. But in order to get the FDA approval, I need about another $250,000 to $300,000. And so I'm asking for your help. Would a few dollars of contribution to Paramedic92 be a good investment to help someone else go home as a result of respiratory or cardiac arrest? I think so. So if you would, please consider contributing to Paramedic92 through IndieGoGo. A contribution of any amount would be welcome. Your contribution will help me bring a product to market in the next 6 months that will save potentially hundreds of thousands of lives. Think about it. Typically, 2% of people that suffer cardiac arrest go home. So out of 1.5 million people, that's not a lot. If we can increase that percentage by 1%, not a tremendous goal, we can send home another 15,000 people in the United States alone. That's almost an average of 5 a day. Do you think a small contribution to Paramedic92 is worth bringing a product to market that may send somebody home after suffering cardiac or respiratory arrest? I hope you do. Thanks for taking a few minutes to listen to this video, and thank you in advance for your contribution.